Hey there, Rambo McLean for life. I'm back for another movie review. And today I will be talking about one of my personal favorite action movies of all time. And that's Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is the third movie in the Die Hard franchise. And this is actually the DVD, the back. And I also do have the Blu-ray. This is also the Blu-ray. Yeah, the back. And I also do have this movie tape. It's a blank tape, but you can see Die Hard with a Vengeance, my own tape. This is widescreen, it's full widescreen. I always do have the Blu-ray, and like I said, I do have the DVD. And I love Die Hard Vengeance. I love to death. This is the third movie, Die Hard 3. I love to death. It's one of my personal favorite action films of all time. And in my opinion, Die Hard Vengeance is the ultimate classic action film. A stone cold action film, a classic in my opinion. In my opinion, the best one of the bunch, the best one of all. And I think that actually this is my favorite Die Hard. Even though I said the first one, this is actually my favorite Die Hard film, Die Hard Vengeance, I love to death. And that's my favorite Bruce Willis movie. And I know everyone goes for the first movie because the first movie is actually a Christmas movie. And the first one movie is a stone cold classic, which I agree. But I think Die Hard Vengeance, in my opinion, is the ultimate classic action film. I put this movie in my third favorite action film, my top 10 action favorite films. And I put this movie in my top 10 above the first one because I love this movie to death. I enjoy this movie more than the first one. I love the first one, but Die Hard Vengeance, directed by John McTiernan and written by Jonathan Hensleigh, is a classic, is a masterpiece. Probably the best action movie non-stop. The best action movie. For 2 hours and 8 minutes we got Bruce Willis been smacked around, and this is such a badass action, cool action movie ever. My personal favorite, ultimate personal favorite action movie. This is an ultimate classic, I would say ultimate classic, favorite action film of all time, I know that a lot of people by Die Hard, I know that a lot of people by Die Hard films, they always compare the first one or even the second one. Now I know back in 2013, there was this guy who he went on a Die Hard 2 trailer and he was keep bitching about how Die Hard with a Vengeance suck and how the second one's the best one of all. And all I did was say, sir, you're wrong. Die Hard 2 is not, Die Hard 3 is not a bad movie, It's better than 2, and in that when happened the argument, But Die Hard Vengeance, what can I say about this classic, This movie was filmed back in 1994, from July till I think was to air in December. The film been released in I think was 15 May 1995, which is cool. But it was filmed in 1994, Some of the actors who played in this movie, they passed away. Larry Brigman, who played Walter Cobb, Inspector Walter Cobb, passed away. The actor who played Anthony Peck, who played Ricky Walsh, also passed away. I think there was another actor who played in that movie and also passed away, which is said the actor who played Dr. Schiller, the psychiatrist, that actor also passed away. I forgot his name, rest in peace. This was written by Jonathan Hensleigh, and by many fans it's been concluded that Jonathan Hensleigh and John McTiernan completely ignored the second movie and they continued the story where the first movie left off, And why I love this movie to death, been in New York, John McClane is back once again in the game. He's suspended. He's once again he's at the wrong time at the wrong place, and once again he has to do what no one can, He has to go in the game, and he doesn't know what everything has to do with him, In my opinion, Bruce Willis' best performance as John McClane once again, best role. I read it in Striking Distance that he dissed the Die Hard with a Vengeance, but I disagree. Die Hard with a Vengeance I love to death, why I love the movie is that it's different than the first two movies. It's not set in Christmas. And this is the only movie in which we finally don't have his fucking family being involved. In every fucking sequel, his wife or his goddamn children are being involved. This is the only action movie that we don't have. It has tons of explosions. And Die Hard: The Vengeance, in my opinion, was difficult to do than the second movie. Die Hard, especially the first movie. The first movie, Die Hard, was budget cost only $25 million because it was cheap. That time for me that was cheap because they only filmed one scene on the airport and one scene in the airplane and one scene in the limousine, and then the rest of the setting was on the building, which they caused the practical explosions, and it only cost $25 million, but made a worldwide hit. Die Hard 2 was cost more. It was more expensive than the first movie. The budget for the sequel cost $70 million because the practical they were blowing up. They were blowing up. They were blowing up. How you say it? They were blowing up airplanes. The explosions, the practical effect, the explosions that caused the budget, $70 million because they were filmed on the airport. They paid a lot so to find the filming locations, and they had to pay them, so they could do their filming scenes, the airport. It cost them $70 million, the sequel. This movie cost $90 million. $90 million. This movie was $90 million. The budget, I think it worth around $300 million worldwide, But this movie cost them $90 million, Yeah, $90 million it cost them because they went through that city, they do tons of explosions. And yeah, it was very expensive, $90 million, it was very expensive for do practical effects, they were running to that city, they had to do filming locations in that city, the movie was set in New York, in which they filmed, And there's another thing, John McClane was from New York, and this movie he is back in New York, which I love that, The first movie was in LA, the second was in Washington, DC. This movie is in New York, which I love that. And in my opinion, this is the only New York movie that I saw that was done, the action sequences in New York. Before it's released, this film was released in May. In April 1995, there was Oklahoma bombings, sadly. There were people speculating that there was some stuff like they had to cut out, but no, it wasn't true because there was Melrose Place, the third season 2, but they did not cut out scenes, John McTiernan did not cut out the scene, Sorry about that, I had to fix my socks. No, he did not cut the scenes out, which was not like that, Yeah, and reading on trivia, how they were making the films, I read that the cast who played the German terrorists in this movie did not speak fluently German, and I disagree with that people whoever wrote that is wrong, because they speak perfectly German. Because I understand, I don't speak German, but I understand the German people what they're saying. They speak perfectly German, which I disagree. It wasn't accurate whoever wrote that. They speak fluently German, in my opinion, I understand what they were saying, And the cast who played henchmen to Simon Gruber, they did a great job, And yeah, Die Hard: The Vengeance once again stars Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Sam Phillips, Nick Wyman, Jeremy Irons, Larry Brigman, Graham Greene, Colin Campman, Anthony Peck. I think I said Colin Camp, Anthony Peck. The rest of the cast I don't know, sadly. But yeah, also Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson did Pulp Fiction together, and Bruce Willis recommended Samuel Jackson to be his partner, and Samuel Jackson liked the first Die Hard. He saw it over 30 times, so he loved the role, and he said that Zeus Carver, the character that he was playing, was actually like his. It was a character based on him, based on the actor personality, which was awesome. That's great. In my opinion, Samuel Jackson did a great job, probably his best job. Zeus Carver was his best character, in my opinion. And some people say, oh, he's a racist. No, he's not a racist. Why the fuck did he went into Harlem and try to save John McClane's life, He's not a racist. I'm tired about these racist jokes, Oh, Die Hard 2 is better. My opinion, Die Hard Avengers is the ultimate classic masterpiece, ultimate action film, my personal favorite action film. I put this movie in top 3. The first two were Rambo 3 and Rambo. This will be number 3, my favorite action film. I put this movie above the first one. And like I said, Sundance Die Hard is my favorite, Sundance Die Hard Avengers is my favorite. They both so great. There are 2 coins and I can't decide because keep changing, because I love both the films. Sundance the first Die Hard the best, and then his third one, But I think that Die Hard 3 is very hard, but I'll definitely say Die Hard Avengers is my favorite Die Hard film. Yes, my number 1 favorite action film, my number 1 favorite Die Hard film. I've been a fan for this film for 15 years. Like I said, I bought this movie on DVD. That was right in September. We got Live Free or Die Hard in August 2007, has been released in my country. This movie has been actually released. I bought this movie in September 2007 and I watched it non-stop on my computer, And I really have to say that this is, to me, ultimate action film, John McTiernan, who directed Predator, Die Hard Vengeance, The Hunt for Red October, 13th Warrior. He directed, I think he directed those films, the Thomas Crown Affair. I don't know if I missed some of them. I think he did Basic or something. I'll definitely say Die Hard Vengeance is definitely my favorite movie that he did. My opinion, And I know a lot of people are saying Die Hard is the best because it's a Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie too. And I think the third sequel is the best one for me because it's a summer, perfect action film. It's around summer. And it just shows how that time, the 90s, were people different than today. Now we have to wear masks. We have this corona garbage, If something gets broke, you're gonna hardly get someone now today fix it. Back in the 90s is better. And I'll say, in my opinion, the Die Hard Avengers is one of the greatest 90s, best 90s action movies of all. The greatest one, the greatest sequels. Definitely with Hard Boiled or Broken Arrow, GoldenEye. GoldenEye came out the same year as Die Hard Avengers, Probably 1995, definitely think will be GoldenEye. My favorite, this will be for 1995, will definitely be my second favorite film, but for the action films, definitely it's top 3, Even the Die Hard films, definitely Die Hard Avengers was always my favorite. Even the first one, it's hard to choose between the first and the third one because it's directed by the same director. And John McTiernan is very missed. I wish he would be doing movies nowadays. On his filmography on IMDb is right. That's gonna do some of the films, but no. Actually, I don't think, no. I really miss the director. I think he perfectly directed. Jonathan Hensleigh wrote and directed The Punisher 2004. Yes, that movie is one of my 100 action films. Definitely my top 100 action films. The Punisher I love, but Die Hard Vengeance that he directed best in my opinion. I mean, John McClane is a badass in this movie. Zeus Carver is a badass. I love the characters in this movie. And yeah, I'll get to why I love also the movie, not only the explosions, but because the first hour they were looking for the code. I love that they're looking for bombs in the schools, in the city, and while McClane and Carver are looking for the code to deactivate the bomb that is set in the school. And I love that, How many movies we got nowadays in which two heroes are trying to solve the puzzle the first hour, They're trying to solve the puzzle and they're looking for code to disarm the bomb. And they have to go running around New York solving those goddamn puzzles, yes, those puzzles said by Bomber, Simon Gruber, played by Jeremy Irons, who plays Mastermind, And at first looks like revenge, but it's actually a heist, which John McClane finds out it's a heist, And this is the first time, by the way, Bonnie Bedelia declined to return to this movie. She said no. So who fucking cares? I don't care about Holly McClane. Screw her. Screw McClane's kids. Fuck all of them, This movie is the only one in which, thank God, John McTiernan said no to fucking kids. He did not put one of the kids in it. He did not put his fucking goddamn wife. We don't fucking need it. John McClane does not goddamn need a fucking wife, He doesn't need. He's ultimate action icon. One of the greatest ultimate action icons ever. And he doesn't need that. And he has to do something that no one has to do shit done, which he does. John McClane does that. Yes, the first movie, they were actually terrorists, they were professional thieves, they were dressed as, disguised as terrorists, and John McClane did blew the shit up, blah, blah, blah. This movie, he goes for 2 hours, kicks ass, takes no names, he goes and kicks ass, he's a badass, And in the first movie, he only kills 10 terrorists. One of them, he thought he killed them, but he didn't. This movie, he kills 12 terrorists. Yeah, 12 terrorists. And this movie is also based on the Roderick Thorp's novel, Nothing Lasts Forever, because we have a female terrorist, Sam Phillips, she played a female terrorist, and all the time, Sam Phillips, she said that she was relieved when her character was mute, but when the time went on, she regretted that she wished she would be talking, that she would speak, but her character never speak, it was mute. But who fucking cares? She was a female terrorist, she was sexy, she was a hot babe, and I love the fact that Simon Gruber, and his girlfriend, Katya, are fucking around and screwing up, and they screwed over John McClane, Sue Scour, and Matthias Stargo, played by Nick Wyman. They screwed all 3 of them, and I love that. They are fucking and messing with them. I love that, We don't have such a great, cool characters like Jeremy Irons played, or like Katya, We don't have such a great female baddies, like was Sam Phillips, she was not only gorgeous or mute, they were trying to screw all 3 of them, and I love that. And this is the first time in which McClane does not kill Matthias Stargo, and he gets killed by Katya on the end, which I love that, because McClane's a good guy, he's not a bad guy, he's a good, honest guy, and definitely my favorite Bruce Willis film. I think that The Last Boy Scout is my second favorite, then Die Hard. But this is my favorite Bruce Willis film, has been for 15 years now. Like I said, I begged my aunt to tape me. This is actually widescreen, it's blank, but it's widescreen. This is widescreen, Now we have 2 black bars, Blu-ray and DVD. But yeah, this is also the back, John McClane, Sue Scarver, the explosions, John McClane, Sue Scarver, which I love that, Samuel L. Jackson, Why I love this movie so much, So yeah, like I said, John McClane becomes now a target of the bomber terrorists. Someone blew the bomb in the opening scene in the Die Hard in the store, And what I love in the movie, in the opening scene, we see a bunch of cars, which I love that. I think that was great for the cars. Then we see summer in New York City, and then we see explosion, and John McClane becomes now a target of a professional terrorist bomber, bomber who set a bomb in New York City, and he demands that he only talks to John McClane, and he sends John McClane for for in Harlem, in which there is a sign, I hate niggers, he wears a sign while his Inspector Cap, his superior officer, and the rest of his colleagues, go 10 blocks away from Harlem, and of course says McClane, yeah, take your time, I'll be dead in 5, and actually the sign was writing, I hate everyone, but then they changed it to niggers, and while McClane is walking to the Harlem, a group of black young men, a gang, they see that, and of course Sus Carver becomes a good Samaritan. He's an electrician, he's a store owner, he's an electrician, store owner in Harlem, and when he sees that that a young man is gonna be in trouble, he says there's gonna be a massacre, He's a good Samaritan, does whatever he can to save that man's life, because there's gonna be a cop, there's gonna police officers with guns, with idiot triggers, and there's gonna be a slaughter in Harlem if he doesn't do something, and he says his grandchildren go to the school, and I love that. I love John Samuel Jackson's character, Sus Carver, so much, I love that. And this gang shows up, fucking with McClane, Sus Carver grabs this gun, he saves McClane, they go in the cab, they escape, and now Simon Gruber calls them, But first we don't know Simon, that's actually only that Simon. Original title was Simon Says, this supposed to be for Lethal Weapon 3 script. But because Joel Silver was not involved, they changed the Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is not Die Hard 3, it's just Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I love that in this movie, and Simon, who says he wants to play a game, Simon says, and he orders that John and his new Samaritan, they go to the payphone, on foot. If they don't, just gonna blow something, there's a lot of people, there's like 100 people in New York City, and he's gonna blow them up if they don't play the game. And that's McClane has to convince his new civilian, who's also the wrong place at the wrong time, to cooperate and working with him, and that's actually so at first, Sue says, I'm not your friend, your neighbor, or your partner. I'm just a total stranger, Of course, McClane says, okay, stranger, where's people, he says, we found a bomb in Harlem, and actually they found it in Chinatown, But he convinces Sus Carver, and when they go to this payphone, there's a lady on the phone, overweight lady, and of course Sus Carver chases her away, and McClane says, set it straight, I'm in charge. And I love when Sue says, let's set it straight. You need me a lot, and I need you. If you don't like my work, then I'm gone. And I love it. McClane says, okay, I need you. And they have to solve a puzzle, to call back, which is a harder riddle. But they are actually solving the riddle, Carver is helping him, Sus is helping the riddle, I forgot to mention, Jesus, I own you, God own me, this guy is my store, I love that. He says, why call me Jesus, don't look up again, you. He called Jesus, he said, he didn't call me Jesus, he called me Jesus, Zeus. I can't pronounce that line that Samuel Jackson says, but I love that. Zeus, I love that, So so now McClane and Sus, they have to go run and catch the train. The train, there's a bomb. McClane steals the cab. This is my favorite scene. And he goes with the taxi cab, drives through the park. He goes through the Central Park, destroys even we see a great. We actually see he goes, destroys he goes, destroys the bicycles, he said, I was saving for the mime. He goes to the park, rides through the park, which is an excellent scene. I mean, $90 million for shooting something like that, The cop, you see Bruce Willis driving, but it was actually a stuntman who was driving, behind, I don't know how they did it, but behind Bruce Willis, but that was dangerous stunt. And driving to the park was definitely one of my favorite scenes, probably the best scenes ever. I saw the trailer. I saw back in 1995 the trailer, and I thought, in the German, I saw the trailer, and first I thought when I watched The Last Boy Scout, I thought it was Die Hard to Vengeance, but it wasn't, it was a different movie. And yeah, he goes to the park, he jumps, he hits all those bicycles, they go he also takes a radio, calls an ambulance, and a lot of the ambulances actually cover them, the scar number says no, the other hospital, St. Jude, and I love that, and they go to the train station. McClane runs, jumps on the train, says it's a bad idea, jumps on the train, destroys the window, climbs in the window, and he's looking for the bomb, finds the bomb, he throws the fucking bomb, and Simon Gruber, he, Simon Gruber then goes and he deactivates triggers, and the bomb explodes, and of course, Sousa's run into the payphone, and there's a guy who's there, and he says, bro, get the fuck on the phone. This guy, cop, shows up, aims at Sue Skyler, and says, look, if you guys shoot me, then shoot me, but I got to use the phone, and I love that. And when Simon asks where's McClane, and says he's on foot, the ruse this is goodbye, and McClane throws the bomb out of the train, and you see explosion, and that's a practical effect for $90 million, They blew up a train, they actually go and blew up the train, which was awesome, and the same year came out Under Siege 2, Dark Territory with Steven Seagal, but I'll definitely choose this movie over Under Siege 2, this is better, so yeah, well, this final something's going on, McClane and Carver, they go in the car with the FBI, Andy Cross. I don't know the actor who played Andy Cross with the FBI, and the other two, I think one of them is from the CIA, and they show them a few sketches of two men who are probably responsible for those bombs, and the other one was Matthias Targo, an Hungarian terrorist, plastic explosions. Yes, he was the one making those plastic explosions, He was that one, making all the plastic explosions. The other one was Peter Krieg, he was East German lieutenant, now a henchman or a terrorist, he's a mastermind, he's a terrorist. European mastermind, German terrorist, he used to be a colonel in East Germany, the other one was the girl, Katya, who was actually Targo's other associate, but I think they the terrorists put the bomb, but they get her, but not him, not Matthias Targo. And of course, okay, so what is gonna do with me? What is going to do with me? And says, yeah, so I guess what it has to do this with me, and of course I want to know what here to know, and says, hey, I know more than you. There's a guy setting up bombs, and this has to do with me, and I love that. And the other one with the glasses says, doesn't Hans Gruber anything mean to you? And then we see the scene from the first movie in which Hans Gruber has been thrown to the building and says, yeah, it's something to me. Yeah, it is something to me. And of course, let's say, Peter says, Peter Krieg has been born as Simon Peter Gruber, his Hans brother, that one for the LA. And now we found out that was Simon Gruber, the older brother of Hans Gruber, who wants now revenge, and he's setting up bombs for revenge. And now Simon calls them, and he already knows who they are in the car, and tells them there's a bomb in a school somewhere in that city, And they have 3 hours to apply his demand, so he's gonna blow up the school. They have to search, so now the police officers from whole city, they are completely searching whole city. They're searching for the bomb, Also with radio frequencies, they're not allowed. If they use radio frequencies, they're gonna blow up everything, And I just love how everything, that there's not some goddamn building. There's something different in this film, The action is different. We see McClane and Suscaro run to the whole city. We see people, we see civilians running. We see people and just love that, Or when they're on payphone, there's this guy who tries to... there's this guy who... there's a lot of people and McClane and Carver are jumping, there's a bomb, and all everyone's looking strange, what's going on, what the hell, they cause a panic, and I think I love even the characters I love more than the second movie, I love Charles Weiss, he's a bomb expert, he's a police officer, for NIPD, he's a bomb expert. I love the actor who played Charlie Weiss, I can't remember the actor, but he was great, He was like me, fat, with glasses and bald. I love him so much. I love the guy who plays Charlie Weiss, I love Katya, I love Connie Kowalski, I love Joe Lambert, played by Graham Greene and Colin Camp. I love Anthony Pecas, Ricky Walsh, rest in peace, I love the actors, the cast who played the German terrorists, they're all great. Nick Wyman as Matthias Stargott, definitely great, My favorite characters were still John McClane and Suscaro because they're good guys, but they don't make movies like this anymore. They don't see plastic explosive like they were in New York, They blew up this scene, They blew up the store. We don't see that anymore, They blew up the store, or how McClane, is looking like this. We see plastic explosions, and there are actually 3 explosions in this movie, And now McClane, and this is where the movie starts getting more excitement, getting more on the edge, which we have to, now we find out what's going on. And now John McClane and Sus Harbour, they have 3 hours to find the code for deactivate the bomb, How many times in a movie you saw in which two heroes for the first hour try to solve the puzzle and they're looking for the bomb, they are looking for the code to disarm the bomb. Yes, the code. They're looking for the code, and they have to run to the park, and they go this water park, in which they found another plastic explosion, a bomb, and they have to with 2-gallon waters, or actually 5-gallon waters. They have to make an eagle well, to disarm the bomb, which they does, which was a tricky. If they a less or higher gallon of water, the bomb will go off, And how many times you do see in that movie, And meantime, while Simon Gruber and his group, his team of terrorists caused the panic, and now every police officer, there's no cops around, every police officer is looking for the bomb, every fireman, every librarian, the firemen, the police officers, the fire department, they're all looking for the goddamn bomb to school. They're looking for schools, there are 1,000 buildings, in 3 hours, impossible, I think that whoever, Jonathan Hensel, who wrote the script, was, in my opinion, brilliant script, better than the first movie. And now Simon Gruber and his team of terrorists go into Fort Knox in the bank, They kill, they put asleep the guards, they kill the other guards, and they steal the Fort Knox gold, When was the last time we see Fort Knox gold? I'll tell you, I think it was 1963 or it was 1964. With Goldfinger, yeah, that time when they did Goldfinger, and this time is Fort Knox, and the German terrorists are stealing $100 billion in gold, and they stole 14 dump trucks, and they go to the Staten Island, they stole the gold from Fort Knox, so the cops can catch them. They stole them, And Simon Gruber has a great plan, which I love that, So with McClane, McClane and now McClane and Carver, they disarmed bomb, and McClane, of course, says to go give these guys, these guys the bomb. Of course, he does those three who are terrorists, and the guy says the McClane is scared, the black man's going to reach me, and he asks what to do, and of course, this guy, Simons is letting go, and the guy is very nice, who's a bad guy. It says, no, there's a bomb, and say, oh, thank you, we must go. They go in the car, and this guy shows up, and wants to open it, and that guy who says, what are you doing? Some kind could get, they speak fluently in German, in my opinion, And I love the guy who also says some child can find this bomb, I love that they say the bomb, I love that in this movie, even this terrorist rush on this movie, in my opinion, So yeah, John McClane, there's this kid who stole the store, two kids still there's still junk food, the sugars, they steal food, and McClane says, do you want to go in the prison? And says, look around, man, it's Christmas, you can steal the city hall. And McClane completely finds out there's something going on. Then he goes to the reserve bomb, not the reserve bank in Fort Knox. And there's actually 4 guys, and the guy killed Ricky Walsh, this guy killed Ricky Walsh, and therefore 3 guards, 3 terrorists dressed as guards, and another as a cop. He stole the badge from Ricky, and McClane finds out the number of Ricky's badge, and there's a firefight, and McClane kills all 4 guys, like a pure badass. He goes and kills them, And then Zeus sees something's going on because everyone is leaving. So Zeus goes under the tunnel, and McClane says, "Bruce," and of course Zeus says, arms up, and says, "No, John, no," and says, "You almost gave me heart attack. Oh, it's not my blood, And they find there's a gold in McClane. After 1 hour, finally finds out it was not about revenge. It's a heist. It's not a goddamn revenge, It makes all the sense. It's a heist, They stole the reserve gold, and they are driving to the Staten Island in 14 dump trucks. They stole dump trucks, with the vehicle. So, and I love that McClane and Carver steal a car, They first kill Hugo, which I love that, My mom used to drive Hugo, They stole Hugo, then they stole another car. They go to the Staten Island to the bridge. I don't see scenes in the bridge anymore. Why can't we see scenes in the bridge? They go to the bridge, and they jump with the car down. Of course, they stop one guy. They steal his car, and of course, McClane says in the backseat he's gonna see a gold bar. And so, "Oh, that's my golden stick," says Carver. They go they actually go through the bridge. They catch one of the dump trucks, and there's this guy who plays Jerry. He says, "So no, I'm a preacher. Of course, I'm a truck driver." He drags her to the aqueduct, and under the aqueduct, under the tunnels, they are actually they're digging the wrong place because they are they're stealing the money, they're stealing the gold, And this is where the clock tickens, like Jeremy Irons' character Simon Gruber says. This is the clock tickens, And McClane with Jerry, he goes down there while Zeus has to go on the Yankee Stadium. Zeus goes to Yankee Stadium, finds something which is writing game over, and two guys are waiting for McClane to put them out, but because there's not the other one, they let him go, and they speak fluently German, in my opinion. Yeah, so the 9 is a 9, we brought in the other one, it means no, we need another one, we need another one too, so no, they let him go, they let Carver go, and McClane with a truck sees there's another one parking and says, give me a coat. He goes, and he was talking about jokes, two guys try to kill him, and McClane fires them, kills 2 bad guys, and finds that they were terrorists, and McClane goes to the dump truck after them, and he calls, Simon says, that's a dickhead, that's a fuckhead, this guy's late, and of course, when they show up, Matthias Stargo, I told you to kill him, not told to him, I told you to kill him, and Carver and Simon says, yeah, that's very helpful, and he has headaches, or McClane says, I have a headache this whole day, I have a bad headache, stop yelling at me. So they blew up, they go and they blew up, they go and blew up the aqueduct, the tunnel, and we see water, and McClane is now climbing on that, he turns around with the dump truck, he's climbing, he's surfing on the dump truck, and he flies down, while Carver is looking for him, and McClane is surfing, this is one of the best scenes ever, my first scenes, McClane surfing on the dump truck, he's surfing on the water dump truck, and he goes to the tunnel, in the shaft, and he gets thrown, in the water, and there's two bad, Carver shows up with the car, 2 bad guys with another great car shows up, with, I forgot, I think was a Jeep car, showed up, start firing McClane. McClane drives now the car, they changed with Carver, they turn over, and McClane says, hold on, and fire them and kills them, he goes and kills 2 bad guys, and he finds there's a lot of coins, and he finds out where the hell they are, so McClane and Carver now go to the bridge, I think it was the State Island, go to the bridge, and that side they find this tanker, this boat, this tanker, and they decide to climb down, and there's another practical effect in which when they climb down, there's Carver wants to jump. He said you're gonna catch yourself, you're gonna die. So they climbed, and the car falls down off the bridge, which is great effect, one of the best effect, and they McClane catches, but they fall down, another great effect, dangerous stunt, that was really dangerous, the car fall down off the bridge, they destroy the fucking car, which is great. So this is another favorite scene of mine, which McClane and Carver now on this ship, and Carver with Heckler Koch automatic weapon, he says, find in the coat, when they finally come get me, McClane goes there, kills all the bad guys on the ship, and then we find out that Matthias Stargo, one of his henchmen, tells him it's an urgent charge. They go to look, and they found there's not in the container that actually filled with that, it's not a gold. Simon double-crossed them, and McClane finds out this guy, McClane goes and finds out this guy, and says in German, don't nicht schießen, means don't shoot, and McClane shoots him, and says, what was that? And then Targo kicks in the face, says, he said, don't shoot, and a lot of fight scene, and choreographed. I think the first movie between Alexander Godunov and Bruce Willis was better in the other 2 stuntmen, but it's much better. This movie, I still enjoy, and says, I'm gonna arrest me, buddy, and of course, when McClane stabs him, but not that much, and said, no, they'll arrest you. He goes and kicks him with the chains, kicks his ass, takes his Uzi, says, you think I'm gonna let you that cannon, did you? He goes and calls the Bridgeport. Meantime, Carver finds Simon, and says, give the guy the coat. Ooh, Samaritan, the coat, I can't give you. Carver finds Simon and demands that he gives him a coat. He says, ooh, I can't give you a coat. Give the guy the coat or signal word. And you gotta do, and of course, when he fires, it's empty. because he forgot. I don't know how the fuck he forgot, or was the weapon jammed? Because I remember that it was the safety was off because McClane did safety off. Maybe he fucked up. Maybe Carver fucked up, but he fired blanks, and of course Simon grabs a gun and says he had to take safety off, fires in the leg, which I love that, and says where's McClane? And McClane then calls Bridgeport Coast Guard, and nothing happens, and he gets caught. And this is one of my favorite scenes, my favorite lines that ever, finally McClane, after 1 hour, and I think the third act, actually the second act, or more the third act, they finally meet, Simon and John McClane, they finally meet to face, they finally meet each other face to face, which I love that. It says, Simon, hello, John McClane, and I love that, and then he finds out there's a real bomb. There was never a bomb in a school. There's a real bomb. This tanker, this ship in this tanker, this boat is a real bomb, I forgot to mention. I love the fact that cops finally found, the Chester A. Arthur is actually the school, because he gives attention, and there were grandchildren in the school attending from Sus Carver. He was giving him attention, but there is a fake bomb, and Charlie, I love his lines, Charlie goes and says, no God's no glory. Love that, The actor did a great job who played Larry, who played Charlie Weiss, no God's no glory. And there's still kids in it, and Joe Lambert and Connie Kowalski running in the school, and they saving the kids. They saving the kids. They try to jump on the building. They can't, and I love those 2-3 kids that Connie is saving them. They go to her, but thank God there was not a real bomb, And and I love Charlie Weiss says, no God's no glory. He says, I'm staying. He's a real hero. Charlie Weiss, Joe Kowalski. Joe Lambert, Connie Kowalski, they are real heroes in this movie. John McClane, Suskar are real heroes. They are heroes. They are saving kids. I love that they're saving kids in this movie. I love that. Why can't we have movies like this nowadays? Please explain to me. They don't make them like this anymore, No, they don't, And I love John Wick movies, but no. You know what? Die Hard with a Vengeance, I don't think that John Wick Chapter 3 can come near this movie. It can't. It can be this movie. It can come atop of this movie, in my opinion. I would say one of the greatest 90s action movies, the best one ever. Even better to me than Hardboiled, better than Broken Arrow, Hardboiled. So much I love this movie, my opinion. So yeah. So now McClane and Carver, they're in this ship, in this scene, they're tied up. I forgot to say it, but this is one of my favorite lines that John McClane says to Simon. And Gruber says, no, there was no bomb. I'm not a monster. I will send us for a monster. And I love when Gruber says, oh, I love this country. And this is my favorite line that McClane says. Your brother was an asshole. Your brother was an asshole. Ha! Yeah, he was an asshole, got his number. It's my favorite scene. Last year when I had to find my girlfriend, I always said, your sister was an asshole, and she never told me, yeah, she was an asshole, you got her number. But it's my favorite line, my memorable line that McClane says, your brother's an asshole. He was an asshole, you got his number, love that. And then now tied to this tanker with a bomb, and McClane takes a shrapnel out of his arms, and Carver saves him, they uncuffs him, and McClane grabs the bomb, he makes them, he causes explosion, blows Carver's handcuffs, they escape now. They both now escape, they run, they escape, they jump in the water and see an explosion. We see an explosion, the tanker, the ship blows up. Practical effect. They blew up a ship. Why can't they do this? Why can't we get movies like this? They blew up, they blew everything, So now McClane and Carter say, but there's no gold under it, and says McClane, they beat us, they beat me, and of course Inspector Cobb said, no, they beat us, no, they beat me, they didn't push you, they pushed me, and yeah, and I love that, Simon says, that Carter says, fuck that McClane, you're alive, aren't you? Lambert, give him a quarter. Says McClane, so he calls his wife, and of course there's a wife, John, who the fuck are you, son of a bitch? But then he finds that, before Simon escapes from the ship, leaves the ship. Of course, Stargo has been killed by Katya there because he said he betrayed us. The Kutera Soldat, Katya shoots him, kills him. They escape, and of course says. McClane says, hey, fuck it, you have an aspirin, have a hands will take. He gives him an aspirin, and then he finds aspirin like this, in Canada, and says, fuck it. He goes, with the helicopter. They go, like this in the Canada. I think was in the harbor. They go in the harbor, in the docks. And while they escaped with the money, they celebrated McClane with a helicopter like a pure badass with Carver and other helicopter pilot that showed up. And says, hey, fuck it, they come from a place, and Katya grabs the gun, shots, and of course McClane says, hey, I think you pissed the lady, McClane, that's Carter says, I think you pissed off a lady, McClane. And then they all escape, and Simon, and of course, Katya, she's driving a helicopter, says, Simon says the person to finish. He goes with M60 machine gun, fires at the helicopter. They escape the helicopter, and he tries to save Suits, but he can't get him out, so he escapes. McClane says, I'm gonna give you attention. The guy keeps firing at them. McClane, he has only 38 special, revolver. He puts only 2 bullets left, And he says, I didn't know Canada must be much fun, I didn't know that Canada has been much fun. And he goes with the gun and says, come on, hotshot, give me something to shoot. The guy keeps firing with the M60. And then McClane, under the helicopter blades, he sees the power lines, and he aims and says, say hello to the bird. And fires, surges the goddamn line into the helicopter's blade, and Simon says, get the hell out of here, and the whole helicopter blows to pieces. It's my favorite line, my favorite scene. It blows to goddamn pieces. It explodes. A practical effect. They destroyed the goddamn chopper. Why can't we do that anymore? They blew practical effect the chopper, for $90 million. And then McClane, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, says, that's my favorite scene. Yippee-ki-yay, he fucking destroys them, it's my favorite scene. At the end, McClane says, oh, I forgot Holly on the phone. And Sue says she's gonna get over it. Oh, my wife is startled. Yeah, she has to be. And I love that, And I forgot to mention, but I love that song, Johnny Comes Marching Home. That's my favorite scene for the movie. Michael came on a return for the music score. Beautiful music score. Johnny Comes Marching Home. I love that song. Love that song for this movie. The end credits are badass. Like again, Bruce Willis, great performance, best performance. Sam Jackson, best performance. Larry Brickman, rest in peace. Inspector Cobb, best performance. The actor who played psychiatrist, best performance. Sam Phillips said that she was relieved when her character was mute, but then she will speak. Great, best performance. The actor who played Charlie Weiss, best performance. Anthony Peck, rest in peace, as Ricky Walsh. And Anthony Peck was young cop in Die Hard. I think it was him who was later Ricky Walsh. He was also in The Hunt for Red October. He played another character. And this is his third collaboration with John McTiernan, And John Matera did a great job, great direction, masterpiece, brilliant, really brilliant screenplay by Jonathan Hinsley. Best performance by Nick Wyman, best performance by Jeremy Irons and Simon Gruber. Most of says that Simon Gruber is that mostly people says that Simon Gruber. Mostly people says that Simon Gruber is not that great. That Hans Gruber is one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest. Rick. That's one of the greatest characters of all time. But that, in my opinion, definitely would have been Simon Gruber. You know, Simon Gruber is definitely, in my opinion, the best villain ever. Katya Simon Gruber. You know, based on Roderick Thorpe's novel. You know, I really must say, I love Die Hard Avengers Dead to be ultimate action film of all time, the best one. Probably, actually, my favorite Die Hard movie. You know, I think that Die Hard the original will be my second favorite, but this will be in my top 3 favorite. This is my 3rd favorite action film ever. I asked my aunt, which I kept the tape to tape it. You know, widescreen. This is with 2 black bars. But yeah, I love Die Hard Avengers Dead. Sue me, this is my favorite Die Hard, my favorite action movie for all time. And this is my movie. This is it feels more real than the first one. It's realistic. It's a pure badass. It's the only movie that was set that we see now in New York. You know, after 9/11, we don't even see. They're not even allowed. I don't think they're even allowed in New York making movies like that. You know. It's we have practical effects. You know, McClane kills 12 terrorists, which is a badass. You know, McClane's still a pure badass like he was in the first movie. You know, I don't care about sidekicks. I just love this movie to death. So yeah, that's my movie review on Die Hard: The Vengeance, the 3rd movie. And Rick says bye. And so me, take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye. I'm out. Ciao.